We live?
You are live.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. So I've been so excited about this because let me tell you, and I posted a little bit about this on my Facebook page maybe a day or two ago, but I want to just tell you guys live about this. So before I even met Charisse, physically met Charisse, Larry, who's our director, is a really good friend, and Larry told me that Charisse was working on this big project about New Orleans East. I automatically beamed, and I beamed because New Orleans East is a neighborhood that I've lived in for several years, all of middle school, high school. Larry has lived in for several years born and raised in New Orleans East. So a lot of our friends are over there, a lot of our family members are over there. Larry, your family's still there. And so we have such a connection to the East, but like a lot of those residents who live in that area after Hurricane Katrina, they feel like it was truly forgotten. So I was so thrilled that someone, and Charisse, I can say this about you, you're a person that you talk about the stories that really go untold, and as I posted online, the story of the New Orleans East and what it was and what people really hope for it does go untold. So her special kicks off tonight, and I am so excited about this. I really am. The Forgotten East. And you split this up into 4 parts. So could you break down exactly how you came up with this?
Sure. And thank you, Charisse, for that, because knowing that you guys were, born and raised in the East and that you guys have my support, it just means a lot, But I got the idea because my assistant news director, they talked about how we should definitely highlight the East because, we do stories after stories after stories about people feeling forgotten about in New Orleans East. But we never really get a chance to really delve into it. And a lot of it is because we only have like a 30-minute show. Yeah. We have daily news happening all the time. But my assistant news director, I remember Michael Bean called me into the office and he said, look, we really want to talk about the East. I said, well, if we're going to talk about these, I need some time, know? And so thankfully, I was able to actually sit down with Larry, Vincent Lewis, who is our photojournalist. And he's also from the East. And I said, okay, guys, let's brainstorm. We're like, what are some of the issues that the East is dealing with? And they said pockets of crime. It's not everywhere in the East because the East is so broad. But they said pockets of crime is an issue, especially when it deals with property crime. Yeah. We talked about blight. Everybody knows that the East has an issue with blight. Larry used to work at the Grand Theater, right yep. Back in high school.
From the day it opened to the day it closed.
Exactly. So, we talked about that. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because you don't really hear their voices, I wanted to talk to the youth. I wanted to talk to the young people, say, what do you think is lacking in the East? And then to talk about the future of the East, because there are some good positive things happening in the East. And, you have the PJs open back in May, so we sat down with Stephanie Chambliss. You have some people who are realtors and investment people that are actually really trying to do a lot for the East. So we broke it down into sections. And one thing I also wanted to do was look up information, look up data, look at the population of the East before Katrina, look at it after. So kudos to the New Orleans Data Center. They have a lot of data and research that I was able to get from them. I went to the Max Data website for the NOPD to look at just crime stats and trends of what's been happening over the past year to date versus last year, and just looking up information. And so then after that, I just started talking to people. And one guy you're going to see tonight, his name is Ronald Walker, guy that lives in the East, senior citizen, and he really did not hold back. And that's what I love about him. And so we sat in the car with him, and we just drove around. And he just talked to me. He just was open and honest about it, and just told me some of the issues he had. And that's where we started from, and then we just went from there.
Now, one of the things that you talk about with blight, and I know, Larry, you and I have connected over this. Of course, before Hurricane Katrina, I feel like there was so much. You had the Plaza, you had the Grand. There were a lot of places you could eat, a lot of places you could shop, things that you could do in New Orleans East, and things that are actually available to young people in New Orleans East. I spent a lot of my time at Joe Brown Park. When I was on the Eagle Ed, we would practice all the time at Joe Brown Park as well. So now that you are a person who still has a lot of connections to the East, what's some of the things that you mostly hear about, because your parents are still there?
Yeah, like an infrastructure, nowhere to shop, like you say.
Yeah.
Places to eat, places to shop, and also places of employment for kids to work in the summertime.
Because you worked at the Grand. I was at Baskin Robbins. I think that was on. Was it on Bullard? I think it was Baskin Robbins on Bullard.
On Bullard.
In the East.
No,
yeah.
it was on Reed.
Was it on Reed?
Yeah, the first one was on Reed.
Yeah. I was at Baskin Robbins out there for when I was 15 years old. So there were a lot of things for teenagers to do, and I think that a lot of teenagers worked in the East as well. Yeah, because we had a lot of we had them all out there.
Yeah.
The whole grand staff was kids from the East, like all from different high schools.
So I mean, the only thing that I'm hoping that a lot of people take from this is when you drive past the East, it's sort of a sadness. And when we did our stories about me coming back to the station, Katie and I visited New Orleans East, and I said, it's really sad because I remember at one point that this was thriving, and I remember living in the East was an accomplishment.
Right.
At one point, like you bought a house in the East, and you said an interesting statistic about the number of people that actually lived there or who owned homes at one point.
I think I can't say the word. Statistically, at one point it was like the biggest area for homeowners at one point in the city. Yeah. And
so, and after
I guess
Hurricane
after Katrina, those numbers changed.
And you still go out there, and it's like there's so many beautiful homes. It's
Yeah.
still a great, and it's just, but they need resources out there. They need things out there. They need industry. They need major chains. Some groceries. I mean, other things than just the Winn-Dixie. And I'm glad that Winn-Dixie's back, but you need more than that.
But then a tornado almost ruined that.
Exactly.
Now, when the tornado hit New Orleans East, that's something I thought I would never in my life here in New Orleans. Yeah, you were in the house.
I was in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Oh my
Lost
goodness.
my car. My parents' roof, maybe 80% of it was gone. It was scary.
It's so much out there, and there's also a lot of things that I wish people would try to bring to New Orleans East. I know that we talk a lot about it, and you don't touch on this a lot in your story, but we've talked about Jazzland. Well, I'm Kate, true New Orleanian, I still call it Jazzland. It's never been Six Flags to me. It's always been Jazzland. So, I mean, we've talked about Jazzland, and that was something that brought a lot of people towards the East, even if they weren't familiar with it. But, I mean, do we ask a lot of people in these pieces, what is it going to take to get these businesses and these homes back there, to get so much of this infrastructure back there?
And as far as Jazzland, I know that the mayor and Cindy Wynn, they keep saying that they're trying to do things to get it back. But, a lot of people still feel like, we keep hearing the same old song.
Yeah.
And now I know that Cindy Wynn, she talked about it, and she's actually going to meet with me for our Facebook Live on Friday. And I really want to talk to her about what's the process like right now. And I know she wants to turn it into a family-friendly environment. So, and that's kind of why I just wanted to, we always talk about Six Flags and Jazzland, so I just wanted to kind of branch away from that, so to speak, just because that's always the topic. But I know that she mentioned that. But we do talk about to people, some people, about what investments could be made. This one lady I talked to, and I don't want to give it away all the way.
Yeah, of course.
But she talked about how she's trying to bring investors in the area, but she wants it to be from the ground up. So she wants it to be people putting small businesses, putting things like that to help do that. And she also wants to help out homeowners, because there are a lot of people out there who are renters, who are on Section 8, and she talks about how she really wants to help them develop wealth. And so, I mean, it's just a lot that we get a chance to cover and we get a chance to do, and I'm really excited because she really talks about that. A lot of people are like her. They're very inspired and they want to do things for New Orleans East to make it better.
So do you think that, do you get a sense when you do that story that in order for New Orleans East to kind of get back to its prime, that it's going to be a community effort, the people who actually live there to build it up themselves versus the city doing it for them?
Yeah, because I mean, and the city has done a lot of things recently too. They have a bunch of road projects that they've put together. Just today, there was a ribbon cutting. But a lot of people say, you know what, they also feel like there are a lot of broken promises, and they want to see something happen. I mean, Larry, you can attest to that, right?
Yeah, it's been even with the Six Flags thing. I remember at one point there was a press conference for a Nickelodeon theme park. Yeah, that fell through. There was a press conference with SpongeBob. They were about to cut the ribbon, but I guess they got caught up in red tape. Yeah. So it's broken promise after broken promise. Yeah.
And you leave, and I don't know how exactly, I can't logistically say how large the neighborhood is, but I do consider it one of the largest neighborhoods in the city of New Orleans.
Right.
Yeah, so, and that's another thing that I remember watching just a portion of your piece. Policing New Orleans East is difficult.
It is, because a lot of people say, and again, pockets of the East are seeing property crimes happen, things like that, break-ins. But a lot of people tell me they don't feel like there's a large police presence. But that's also because there is a manpower shortage going on right now with the NOPD. They're trying their best at recruiting. But it's so, they're still facing a manpower shortage, and then that's their largest district.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can you, police area that's your largest district when you have a shortage? And so we see all of that. I reached out to New Orleans NOPD. They never got back to me for an actual sit-down interview, but we did go to one of those crime stat meetings, and they were able to show us like areas that are doing better, there are areas that they're working on, and things like that. And we talked to some people. Now, one guy I talked to was very vocal about how he's like, this is not happening, and the other guy was more actually sympathetic towards NOPD, saying, look, they're trying to do the best they can. Yeah. So we get all the voices and all the emotions of everyone. But yeah, is that something you're hearing too from a lot of people?
Yeah, like policing, neighborhood policing, even like foot patrols. People saying there could be more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, like you said, you're getting the perspective of two people who were there before Hurricane Katrina. My home was destroyed, and my family rebuilt in the same neighborhood, and they planned to stay there for a very long time. But after Hurricane Katrina, there was such a change, having to drive to Chalmette to get groceries or to get food or
something as simple as buying a pack of batteries. You couldn't do that. And you have to go to Chalmette to do it.
You have to go out, and eventually people start to ask if it's worth it. Then they eventually either sell their homes or they move forward, and renters come in, and that's no issue. But you do want people to get back to that status of being a homeowner.
Yeah.
I remember walking around. I caught the broad bus from Warren East End on Canal all the way down to Reed Boulevard, and you could walk around, and there was a lot of stuff. I would stop at different stores and do a lot. I know. Now I see that they're trying to come back with Joe Brown Park. Did you visit there?
Yeah, we actually went to Joe Brown Park. Joe Brown Park was really nice, and then even the Goretti Playground. They just had a ribbon cutting there at Goretti Playground because they have a new basketball court. So Joe Brown Park looks great. We actually did one of our interviews with the young people at Joe Brown, so it looks really good. But even so, a lot of the young people said there's still not a lot to do. No. There's not a lot for them to do. They can come here and walk around the park, but to keep a lot of kids occupied, there's nothing out there.
Yeah, definitely not compared to when I was a kid.
No mall, no ice skating rink. Which was this ice skating? You remember the ice skating rink? No mall, no movie theater. That was the thing for teens to do. Everyone went to the movie theater. Well, no matter where you went. But everyone went to the movie theater just to hang out. So, I mean, look, we can go on and on about this. This is a topic, obviously, you see that we are very passionate about. And we hope that you all take the time to watch this so that you can really take a look at what Caresse discovered here, because she speaks to a lot of people that are in the community who really say they want to see change. And she's going directly to the source here. And she's taking those answers and everything that they have, those questions, to people who are with the city. So hopefully you can start watching this. It starts tonight at 10 o'clock, right?
10 p.m.
And
Central Time.
And it is running every day this week, every day at 10 o'clock. You do not want to miss this. And also for those, if you're online, we'll be streaming it on our website, WWLTV.com. And we have all of it loaded on YouTube as well, just in case you want to see it. I know sometimes people go to bed early, they can't make it. All of the series is uploaded on YouTube. So visit our WWL-TV YouTube channel. You can watch the Forgotten East series by our own Caresse Jackman. You did a great job.
Thank you. And thank you for all those who already watched it, because a lot of people said thank you for finally shedding light, because they felt like it was time. You know? So,
all right. Well, we'll see you guys.